Last and final video of the series on economic growth. In this particular video, we'll look at two diagrams by which we can show short-term economic growth and long-term economic growth. So for short-term, we can use the PPC model and show real GDP or actual growth. So if there is actual growth, that means there is economic growth in the short term in the real GDP. So for drawing a PPC, you can just take consumer goods on the y-axis, capital goods on the x-axis. You can do it the other way around also. And then show that there is economic growth from a point inside the PPC, that is P, towards Q, which is a point on the PPC. So this will show us actual growth. Another way is using the aggregate demand and aggregate supply model and simply showing an increase in aggregate demand. So this graph will have the average price level on the y-axis and the real GDP on the x-axis. By showing the aggregate demand increasing from AD to AD1 and also showing that AD1 is the LRAS, the price level increasing and the output increasing, or the GDP increasing, the real GDP from Y1 to YP. YP in this case is the potential output or the full employment level. You can also call it as YFE. Note that in this particular diagram, in these two diagrams, I have shown that the real GDP is increasing from P to Q, which means it's increasing from a point inside to actually potential output, and which is why I've shown the LRAS showing potential output over here. However, you can even show any point inside itself. So from the point P to, let's say, another point here, which is again towards and not yet on Q. Let's say it just reached till R instead of Q. So that would also be economic growth in the short term. And in this case, it would probably not come at potential and probably be somewhere over here, let's say. So that would again be an increase in output. From P to R would be Y1 to say Y2, and this would be PL3, for instance. And that would show again short-term economic growth. For long-term economic growth in the PPC, showing an outward shift of the PPC because of the there is an increase in the quantity and or quality of the factors of production. Okay, and in the ADAS diagram, you can show that by a shift in the LRAS, or the long run aggregate supply, which depicts the potential output. So potential output increasing from YP1 to YP2, the full employment level actually increasing, and the price level going down. So obviously, increase in potential output. Through the diagram, you can easily show how good it is, how beneficial it is, that along with economic growth in the long term, you get a decrease in the price level, which can be very beneficial for the economy. This is the last and final video for economic growth.